Okay, so what I've done is separated this document into two parts: channel options and the initiative list. In this first video, we're going to go over what these little growth channels actually, the opportunity is there. So there's about 20 of them. There are probably more, but these are sort of the core 20 that a lot of people need to focus on. So sales is obviously sort of a direct reach out. You hire an individual to go after target companies. So each of these can be utilized in some form based upon your business model. So I always want to think about, like, what is it that your business, you need to think about the price point. You need to think about how long they're going to be customers, because you don't want to be allocating resources to a more expensive channel versus something that you could get traffic at a cheaper, more scaled option. So each of these is, good and bad, depending upon if you're B2B or B2C. But in some cases, almost all of them can be utilized. Maybe save sales. Sales is probably directly B2B at a price point, a higher price point. But sales, going after hire an individual to go after target companies, guide them through a sales process. Content marketing is a really great one. Writing blog posts that can be used for both B2B and B2C. It's focused on generating search traffic. So when somebody types in how to make a fire, somebody looks up a blog post and there's a charcoal, blog post reading about how to sort of make a fire somewhere. So the idea is that you can generate search volume based upon written content that solves a solution for somebody. Email marketing is one of the higher impact ones, and you can get super sophisticated with this nowadays. It used to be just sign up for a subscription and then somebody would send out an email every so often, but nowadays people can sort of put people through automated sequences based upon customer demographic or behavior as they're interacting with your application or your email content materials. So it's one of the highest ROI marketing activities to sort of reach people and provide value in their inbox. Paid search, if you are trying to reach people on the large search networks such as Google or Bing. This can get expensive. You have to, hire typically an agency unless you're willing to sort of get in and do it yourself. Do a lot of the keyword research, provide enough, of a budget to be able to sort of statistically say that it's going to be a valuable channel or not. And you have to have a high enough price point, right? People have to be purchasing higher ticket items from you, and so it's something that you have to sort of be, maybe not necessarily an expert at it, but it certainly helps. Retargeting in the same vein. When somebody comes and visits your website, this can be a super complementary growth channel for somebody who maybe came by a social ad and then goes across the internet to Facebook or searches something else. Then you can serve up other advertisements to them because they interacted with a page, social advertisements. So based upon where your customers are, you can filter for specific criteria to get those individuals on to your website. So if it's more professional, it might be Facebook. If it's more social, it might be Facebook. But if it's more e-commerce, it might be an Instagram because it's a little bit more visual. So it just kind of depends on different strokes for different folks in terms of being able to sort of target and get more ROI for your time investment. Social media marketing, so sending content to some of these places in order to sort of generate a following. This can be sort of complementary. It's tougher to sort of peg down an ROI on it, but there are companies out there that are doing a better job of generating web traffic through stories on Instagram that then sends back to a custom URL that they can then track search volume from a specific place over time. SEO marketing, so this is in the same vein as the content marketing, is that you are optimizing your website and blog content to be picked up by search platforms. And so, this just takes time. It takes expertise, right? You have to run an audit. You have to be able to sort of understand and sometimes technically re-architect your website. If you end up using, some of the out-of-box tools like WordPress or Shopify, a lot of times those are going to do a lot of the SEO architecture for you. But if you're doing sort of, something else, right, you have to sort of bring in an expert to make everything correct so that you're going to begin to show up in search results. Product launches, if you're in the, this could be both for products or software, software products or physical products. But being able to get the word out, using sites like Product Hunt, or being able to utilize your existing network to amplify, this new great thing that you're offering, is definitely a growth opportunity. I'm not just necessarily sure if it would be a growth channel, but nonetheless, I think it's important enough to sort of consider. Public relations, so being able to utilize third-party, domains or entities to be able to review and hype up your product. Sometimes this is paid. Sometimes this is, out of the kindness of review sites' heart. But a lot of times, they're looking for content because they have viewers that want reviews for certain things. And so if you can get access to their viewership, then it's a whole different, audience that you're being able to tap into. And you also get sort of that trust factor. Conference marketing, being able to go to conferences, this is a high density for people that are looking for what you offer. And this could be small goods that you sort of have a pop-up shop. You don't have to be huge in order to sort of take advantage of conference marketing. If you're going there and thinking it's just for B2B, there are consumer conferences out there that sell all sorts of different knickknacks, that are part of multi-million-dollar companies. And so, conference marketing is FaceTime with your direct customers. If you're picking the right conferences, and it can sort of make or break a growth for your company if you're doing it correctly. Business development, I like to think of this in terms of creating partnerships that boost revenue for each side. When big companies partner with other big companies in order to sort of put on something, then that's business development. If you're doing business development, you probably don't need to hear it from me about what it is that it needs to be done at your company. Video marketing, being able to create videos to publish to YouTube to generate traffic or awareness, and all the other video platforms. I mean, every social platform at this point allows you to post video in some way, shape, or form. So mobile, landscape view, being able to sort of create interactive content that isn't something that they have to read, is you're going to get way more engagement with it. That's what the numbers are showing. Public speaking, so being able to sort of go into if you're an expert or an authority in the space, getting in front of an audience to go and educate them on something can be extremely beneficial and low cost, because you get dedicated time and attention for something that they're trying to solve. It's not necessarily to hype up your product, but second degree is that you're going to be sort of there as an authority from a company that sells this service and is educating somebody on something that they need to know about. Event marketing. So this would be like if you've ever heard of Meetup or Eventbrite, companies hosting events and bringing customers locally to get FaceTime. This could be for customer success to sort of make existing customers feel sort of a part of the team, or it could be for new potential customers, or just to sort of generate brand awareness for individuals who aren't necessarily going to be customers, but they're going to sort of talk about it to people. So can be high ROI, can also be expensive, but if done right, it can be very helpful. Podcast marketing, podcasts are one of those sort of growth channels that are occurring right now, as everybody's sort of jumping in to stake their claim as the newest, hottest podcast. If you have something to say and you have an interesting story to tell, you can jump in and create quite an audience, and you can own that audience. Just like, people are sort of owning audiences on these other social platforms. So iTunes and similar podcasting platforms allow you to sort of generate these audiences, generate subscriptions, and get dedicated attention while people are going to and from work or whenever they're listening to podcasts. Account-based marketing, is it's the new kid on the block, and that it's becoming a little bit more mainstream. It's been around for some time, but it's really, for high ticket items. So, in conjunction with a sales team, account-based marketing is you're creating dedicated marketing materials and campaigns for specific companies. And so, the ROI or the revenue number for a lot of those has to be really high in order to justify that. So B2B companies, have probably looked into this. Or if you're selling to businesses and your price point is high enough that you can justify dedicating an entire team towards individual companies to sort of go and create blog content, create ads specifically for individuals at that company, then it can be extremely beneficial versus just casting a wide net. Customer success is more about your existing customers. How are you growing that revenue base, right? You don't have to go out and find new customers. If you have plenty of customers that are already paying you, all you need to do is pick up the phone and upsell them on other things. So it can be, of all of these channels, it can be the lowest cost, highest impact for your revenue is keeping people around and guiding them towards value that's helpful for them, that ends up making more revenue for yourself. Last few, influencer marketing, utilizing the celebrity of individuals online. So you may have seen these as, on Instagram, TikTok. So a lot of these social platforms where people have gathered these massive followings. Well, guess what? They're not doing it out of just the kindness and boredom. Well, maybe some of them are, but a lot of them are figuring out that they can make careers out of this. And so they end up working with brands, doing campaigns. No doubt you've seen it when they're flashing a watch or doing something with teeth whitening. It's a lot of it is consumer products. And so if you are a consumer brand, influencer marketing be super helpful. But consider it as well in the B2B space for business type celebrities. I don't know who necessarily would be doing those these days, but if you have a business type celebrity that is notable in the community, they might be open to being some sort of an influencer marketer, some sort of an affiliate. Landing page optimization. So this is just at that awareness level when you're doing those initial advertisements, how people interact with your brand initially on sort of those dedicated landing page, and how are those landing pages performing? Are new accounts being created? Are forms being subscribed to? So are you getting new leads from landing pages, or is it that you're not being very efficient with it? And in the same space, conversion rate optimization. This is about as we talked about in the previous videos about the funnel going from top at the awareness level down to referral level and it being one giant funnel. Conversion rate optimization focuses on all of the little details there in order to sort of make small tweaks to understand how individuals are going to better convert into the next phase. And so it's about messaging, it's about user experience. You need a dedicated conversion rate optimization person. They're going to use tools like Optimizely and I'm forgetting the tool for, it might be Optimize. I think it's Google Optimize. It's a free tool that allows you to make changes on your website and perform A/B tests to see what messaging works best, what imagery works best for conversions at certain stages to understand and improve flow. I mean, this is more for when you have that sort of high volume types of numbers, that you need to worry about this. Because if you have, whatever, a few dozen coming in a day, I mean, that is still over a month in an annual period. It might be worth it. I mean, if you're missing out on 500 conversions, and those conversions are typically at worth $500 a year, it might be worth the salary of paying a conversion rate optimization specialist in order to sort of fix these holes in your product or service offering. And lastly, affiliate marketing. So this would be more for bigger brands that, but you might consider it. Just consider it as part of your overall strategy, right? Is working with people who have websites, right? They are already sort of writing about the industry. They're writing about products or services similar to yours, competitors. A lot of times they're doing that because they're affiliates. They are getting paid per lead when somebody clicks on a link that goes to their website, and they're getting a cut of the revenue. So this isn't necessarily, this could be B2B or B2C. I mean, if you have a high volume item that you're selling thousands of them a month, that's the same as selling a low volume item that's worth 1,000 a month, right? And so the inverse is true for both B2B and B2C. So something to consider, for either brand if you're trying to sort of do that, because then you have somebody or groups of people that like your brand and are making money off of it, and you're making money off of it as well. So think of it as sort of the cost of doing business, but you take the risk off the table because it's not a channel that you're necessarily paying for before the fact. You're paying for it after the fact, after something is sold. So those are just some of the top channels for you to consider. And then in the next video, we'll go into something just for you how to choose. And then the next one, we'll go into how to implement an initiative management system.